That's great.
Great human being, keeps on coming to India, and we do a lot of work in India as well.
Wonderful. In
So
fact, General A.K. Singh, whom I think was on this platform too, is a very dear friend and part of our extended family. We were from the same regiment.
Oh, wow.
And we are very, very close. He's 4 years senior to me, but we are very close. We are like real brothers.
That sounds great. He is a great guy indeed. And I have had interactions with him a lot. And he is a fascinating guy.
Yes, absolutely.
There's a lot of learning process. He's like a mentor for us in one of the organizations we call D-Spin Group. And
okay.
I am just sharing now because we are on live on Facebook.
Right.
I'm sharing with certain groups, and in case you want to pick up from my, Facebook Live, and you can put it on your Facebook Live itself, that can also be possible.
Okay, I'm fine this way.
Facebook, you can pick it up from here and put it live on your Facebook as well.
Okay.
You can copy it there and share on your
Facebook. Right.
You can do. I am doing that with various groups, and till we really start the conversation.
Okay.
So I am right now sharing with various groups, which is going to be very powerful from different platforms. Different people keep joining and asking for questions. National HRD Network. I'm doing it continuously, sharing with platforms so that it goes to more people. More the merrier.
Absolutely.
This knowledge sharing, and that too from, army officers, is fascinating, because something like this is very important for us to tell the world that our army, Indian Army, is one of the most respected people in the country, and we need to be really respecting them for their contribution in nation building. We are safe because people are on the border. That is the meaning of life.
Yeah.
So having said that, I think now we are live now. Let's get into.
Yes, sir. Both live is okay. Facebook and Global TV.
Fantastic. So great. So we are at 5:29 point something, so we can get into next 2 minutes. Yes. Yes, General Shivane, General Ashok Shivane. You have a very great name, Ashok Chakra. And Ashok, my elder brother name is Ashok,
Okay.
That's fascinating. Are you ready?
Yeah, I'm absolutely ready.
Can we start? Okay, Varsha, we can start.
Yes, sir, you can start.
Global Talent TV already on?
Yeah.
Okay, thanks Varsha and Amresh for the support. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, great good morning in US and Canada. Good afternoon in UK, Europe, Africa. Good evening in Asia Pacific, India, Thailand, Malaysia, Singapore. And late good evening in Australia. Ladies and gentlemen, indeed it is an honor for me at this platform to welcome someone who is most respected, most talked about, a very dynamic Army Lieutenant General known as Lieutenant General AB Shivane, PVSM, AVSM, VSM retired, to this new DNA of leadership program today. My respects to Lieutenant General, and Vande Mataram and Jai Hind.
Absolutely.
an army officer of par excellence. General, I need to share with the world about your background. Once I do that, then I will have my questions with you, Lieutenant General Shivane, because then during that period when I am raising questions, the people who are on different platforms would be raising their questions on these platforms. I would be facilitating their questions, whether they are on YouTube or Facebook or Global Talent TV, and I will be asking those questions on their behalf.
Certainly.
And of course, on the Zoom, I would request the Zoom people to be coming forward and asking questions themselves. That is what the format is. We should be together for an hour. Depending on Q&A, it can get extended. And I can see Cheryl has already joined. Cheryl, we were just talking about you and you are already there. Good to see you on Zoom, Cheryl. So you can certainly prepare your vote of thanks for your Lieutenant General. So ladies and gentlemen, Lieutenant General A.B. Shivane. And the beauty of the name is A is Ashok, B is Beam. We need to talk to Lieutenant General in how come such a powerful name in the childhood. At that point of time, nobody thought that he would be going to become the Lieutenant General of the great Indian Army. Ashok Beam Shivane, a second-generation army officer, alumnus of National Defense Academy, Pune, and joined Indian Army in 1978. A scholar, warrior with 40 years of outstanding career in Indian Army, he has excelled in all spheres of Indian Army. During his tenure, the general officer has done MSc, double MPhil, PGDCM, all with first class. He has been a meritorious student and with distinction. Besides several military coveted courses in India and abroad. His career span, he has represented India at United Nations Peacekeeping Force in Guatemala, my God, a tough place, was in charge of anti-terrorist operation in J&K from 97 to 99. Captain Shivane, I belong to Kashmir, I am a Kashmiri Pandit, and was in charge of prospective planning and future reconstruction of Indian Army as ADGPP. And finally, he coveted appointment of Director General Mechanized Force, which is a very important portfolio in the country. He commanded the oldest and operationally employed offensive formation of Indian Army, the Elite Strike Corps, from 2004 to 2015. He was awarded President of India, PVSM 2017, AVSM 2016, VSM 29, besides Chief of the Army Staff Commendation, as well as Army Commander commendations for highly distinguished services of the highest world-class order. Subsequently, he was bestowed with the rare honor of being nominated honorary AD Camp to President of India in July 2017 in recognition of his distinguished services. The general is really internationally known in leadership, motivation talks, geopolitics, national security, terrorism, military capability building, military technology, international relations. He has chaired and been a keynote speaker at several international and national seminars, including the chairman of Indo-Russian Land System Conference in 2017. He is an acclaimed defense analyst who has over 80 publications to his credit, including a book, research paper released by Raja Raksha Mantri. He has been an active participant on various webinars and other forums of digital platforms in COVID times 2020. The recent ebook, Ladakh 2020, released by Military Literature Festival 2020, has two of his great articles. His contribution to COVID warriors in terms of spiritual, motivational talks to the youth for combating its body, mind, and soul, the DNA, have brought him accolades at national and international level. He was a volunteer COVID warrior with the government and has actively participated in motivational talks and writings. The officer is an active member of environmental and social cause NGO and road accident prevention, Drive Safe India. The general officer is presently the senior defense advisor and a member board of governance to several think tanks and defense magazines. Besides Global Legal Innovation Advisory, Drive Safe India, environment NGOs, and hospitality industry. General Shivane has been the consultant to the Ministry of Defense Ordnance Factory Board from 2018 to 2020. He is a multitasked, multifaceted, multinational personality. He is a keen golfer, a music lover, and a horse rider. Wow. He has also written numerous poems and couplets. That's beauty. His passion for adventure, sports, cycling, traveling, to explore nature is part of his persona. As a soldier, he has been instrumental in commanding greatest respect in the Indian Army. When you look at him, he is a man, he is a soldier, he calls himself as a soldier. He talks and shoots straight and straight and straight. He doesn't mince words. Ladies and gentlemen, that is the power of this man. That's the power of this general. That's the power of this persona who is with us on this new DNA of leadership. Whether you call it FICCI or CII, FRCV, DGMF, anybody, FX bodies, he is most respected. Done a lot of work on defense projects on Make in India, defense to ecosystem, and role of private defense in India. So when you look at his, I can keep going on and on, but then I need to stop somewhere because at this point of time, we need to talk to him and know more about him. So before I go to the first question, I will simply say, great respect to you, and I salute you as an Army officer for being with me this evening.
Thank you so much, Jayant, and greetings, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you, Mr. Bakshi, for your kind invite and gracious words. I'm indeed humbled as a soldier. I'm just a soldier of the finest army of the world. Wow. And I have had the privilege of leading the very best gallant soldiers one can ever dream of. So I am blessed to that extent. And therefore, my belief is that the flag of our country does not flutter because of the winds, but because of the last breath of the soldier who sacrificed his life protecting that flag. And allow me, before you ask a question, to quote my favorite motivational couplet. जमाने भर में मिलते हैं आशिक कई, जमाने भर में मिलते हैं आशिक कई. In this world you will come across many types of lovers, मगर वतन से खूबसूरत कोई सनम नहीं. But nothing can match the love of one's country. नोटों में लिपट कर,
जमाने भर में मिलते हैं आशिक बहुत,
जमाने भर में मिलते हैं आशिक कई,
आशिक कई,
मगर वतन से खूबसूरत कोई सनम नहीं.
अरे वतन से खूबसूरत कोई सनम नहीं. वाह, क्या आशिकी का क्या मिजाज है.
नोटों में लिपट कर, सोने से सिमट कर, नोटों में लिपट कर, सोने से सिमट कर मरे हैं कई, मगर तिरंगे से खूबसूरत कोई कफन नहीं होता.
अरे वाह, तिरंगे से खूबसूरत कोई कफन नहीं होता.
You are blessed if your last journey has the tricolor dawned on you. And
My
that is
God.
the pride of being a soldier for life.
Hey, General Shivane, what a great way to start this program. I am fascinated, I am excited, I am thrilled. I also look like an army officer, but I have never been in army. But when I go to some place, they say, have you been in the army? Because my personality looks like an army officer. And
Absolutely.
I feel proud of you, General Shivane, this evening. And the way you started, and this Tiranga, this is my Indian flag here, sir. And there's a
Yes.
Thai flag also. This is Indian flag. This is, ye hamari matrabhumi hai. I am a proud Indian and proud global Indian. And I feel great to have you with me on this show today. It is amazing experience. Ladies and gentlemen, whosoever has joined from all parts of the world, or whosoever is going to watch this program later, what an amazing personality we have on the show today. Let me go for the first question. General Shivane, your journey of leadership excellence has been most respected profession in the world, the best army in the world, the Indian Army, whom we salute every time. When I was going through your long profile, it was heartening to see someone like you making so much impact, making so much noise, and building up your career to become someone we all feel proud of. But I want to know where from this young boy who was born, how did it happen? Your parents, your mentors, how was your journey as a child to become general today? Over to you, sir.
Thank you so much. It's a blessing to be a soldier of this nation, because soldiering is not a profession, it's a way of life. And I grew up in this way of life. I was born in a Fauji family, a soldier's family with soldierly ethos. My father was a freedom fighter and an army officer who in 1943 joined the British Air Force, Royal Air Force, flew the Spitfires for 2 years till they realized that he had done his engineering in Urdu. And then they transferred him to the Royal Engineers. So that is the legacy of my father. And I was born with a blood color of olive green and a blood group of B positive and a dream of donning the uniform. My father was my guru, my idol, my best friend, and he imbibed in me the qualities of being human and soldiering. He was very clear. He said, to be a good soldier, you have to be a good human being first. And that's what became the bedrock of my life: discipline, and passion for whatever I do. My mother was a pillar of strength for the family. She was a Punjabi from Lahore. She was my source of finding positivity and happiness within. And she taught me values of sharing, caring, and gratitude. I mean, it was amazing. Virtues, she taught me that to have passion in your whatever you do is the greatest virtue. And do it selflessly, without favor or fear. So that is the sort of parenthood that I inherited. And this sowed the seeds of upbringing in me as a child, as I grew up with two elder siblings, a brother and a sister, both twins. Let me give you a canvas through a few snippets of those days as a young boy, which have made a lasting impression in my life, and whatever I do, I can never forget that. My first impression was the ethos of secularism and bonding. You know, my father was a Maharashtrian, my mother from a place called Osmanabad, and my mother was a Punjabi from Lahore pre-partition. And in 1949, they fell in love and got married. It was a 1949 love story. There was the ethos of no caste, no creed. It was pure happiness that this family looked at. We celebrated, since he was a Fauji, we celebrated all festivals, all festivals. In our house, we had a small place of worship, all gods recited there. So the family taught me to be a secular, God-loving, and a person who would bond with friends for life. The second thing that my parents taught me is to have broad shoulders, large heart, and a straight spine, and stand by your men at all times, at all costs. My dad, God bless his soul, the Britishers couldn't pronounce Shivane, so he was known as Shivane as a young officer, and he served under General Slim in the Burma campaign in World War II. And he related to me one incident which I can never forget. During the end of the war, they used to have an open air cinema, and he and all the officers used to drive in their open jeeps and watch the small screen or a big screen cinema in a space. When he, with his subordinate, went in on his jeep, a military police sergeant from the British Army stopped him and said that Indians cannot drive your jeep, you'll have to get down and walk and see. He caught hold of his collar and pushed us aside, and he said, soldiering does not know nations. We are fighting together. Now, this made a hue and cry because the sergeant was pushed aside, and he was called by General Slim, formally marched up for discipline. And what the great General Slim had to say to him, he told him, and I quote, Shivane, never do it again. But if I was you, I will do it again and again. Never do it again, but if I was you, I will do it again and again. Now look at the leadership. He did his duty by cautioning him, but he told him that you stood by your men and you are right, and I stand by you. That is the sort of lesson I do of standing by your men. My parents also taught me to stay calm, positive, and strong during times of adversity. Never let your weakness be seen. I remember in 1962, my father was posted in Bhutan, and he was given a special mission during the 1962 operations. He was declared dead or alive, not known. We were in a place at Dehradun, in a separated family. And we get this telegram that Lieutenant Colonel B.V. Shivane, dead or alive, not known. 3 months, the family didn't know, and it was chaotic. But my mom was positive. She says, your dad is going to get back. He's a soldier. And she kept the mood positive, not morose. That showed me that how one in adversity must stay positive and overcome it. In 1972, I told you I had a elder sibling, brother and a sister. My brother was a Remkollian who donned his uniform at 10 years of age. November 71, he was commissioned into the Indian Army, the infantry. And 5th March 72, in a free case of lightning on the Indo-Chinese border at Natala, he got killed. Lightning fell. Just 3 months after his commissioning. And that evening, we get a phone call, a trunk call, saying that this has happened. Now you can imagine the plight of the home and their family. But I never ever saw my father, crying or this thing in front of us. I heard him go to the toilet, lock himself, and then let out, but never in front of the family. I mean, that is the sort of strength that family gave us. And last, that incident I won't forget. After this, when I passed out from my school, Bishop's School, I had medical subjects, and I cleared the pre-medical, and I could have joined a medical college and become a doctor. But my heart and soul was to join the Indian Army and wear the uniform. And I qualified simultaneously for India. The choice was become a doctor or become an army officer. I was very clear. But I had in my mind a little apprehension because seeing what happened to my brother just 3 months after his commission, I was not very sure about my parents. So when my dad asked me, he said, son, where do you want to join now that you have a choice? So I told him, I want to join the Indian Army. He said, why? So I gave him a few reasons. He said, come on, don't beat around the bush. Where is your heart? Where is your passion? Tell me that. I told him it's Indian Army. He said, you will go to NDA. Forget everything else. Well, good that you cleared the entrance for MBBS, but here I see an army officer in you, and you will go there. So these were the sort of family ethos in which I grew up, and I went through a transition thereafter from a boy to a man to a soldier. I always had a fascination for tanks. Two things that made my adrenaline level go up. One was the national anthem, because that time when you went for a movie, the start and end of it, we had a national anthem playing, and the flutter of the flag, even if it was black and white, something used to happen in me. And the second was when I saw a tank at various crossroads, I knew that this is the machine that I want to master, and this is the machine which I will drive one day. I used to go with my mother during 65, 72 operations to the military hospital to look after the war wounded. But whenever I saw a tank, it was something like, in Hindi mein bolte rongte khade ho jate. You feel regenerated, you feel, when am I going to be in that machine? And without ethos, I joined the National Defense Academy. And National Defense, I was a 17 years old kid fresh from school, a very good school, Bishop School, Pune, had long hair, long side locks, and was enjoying the social life as a teenager. And then I joined NDA and got a crew cut. The first thing in the first 10 minutes of my arrival, which was common for everyone. And it cast you into a man which imbibed soldier ethos. It taught you to be comfortable with discomfort, and that life begins at the end of comfort zone. It surprised me what human body can endure. It is more mental than physical. I mean, we always think physically you'll get, it's all mental. It taught me team spirit and camaraderie, taught me we is above I. Team performs, team wins, individuals lead and individuals contribute. It taught me the value of discipline and time management. And it taught me virtues of service before self, which was the motto of NDA, Seva Parmo Dharam. And there, this young school boy, a teenager, joined NDA in 75 and emerged as a tankman in December 78 to be commissioned in one of the oldest and finest Indian Army tank regiments, 7th Light Cavalry, with the motto, we lead.
General Shivane, what a fascinating, what a background. I mean, you are talking about broad shoulders, large heart, straight spine. You are talking about your dad as a freedom fighter, as an army officer, your mom as caring, sharing, and most passionate. And then there were tough situations of your brother, and then still how you have been inducted into NDA, and you carry the flag of the country with positive impact of creating the best and the most respected Indian army. Your contribution to nation building is phenomenally honorable and respectable. I see a lot of people joining here. Mr. Ashok Rao, Mr. Deepak, of course, in from Thailand. I see Saurabh joined, Cheryl Sichali Bose. I see Ash Rana from Australia already there. And I can see, our friend, Dr. Suresh Gupta from Washington, D.C. He has already written something about the lapel pin and feeling proud about being here today. I see Anshu Sadhu already there. I see Milane Fale from Spain already there. I see Nida Khanam already there. Wow. I see Speedy already there and watching you live right now. Ladies and gentlemen, see the power of this persona who is talking about his background of becoming someone who is respected, who has done so much. As a child, how did he come to NDA? Now, I want to go to further processes of how he moved to the next level of excellence. I am keen to know, General Shivane, about your different experiences as an ordinary army officer at that time. Some of the great events, some of the experiences which would attract people to become what you have attained. Because you look at yourself, our next generation, those who are aspiring to become the army officers like you for tomorrow, they will actually get motivated by knowing about your experiences, your challenges, and how you mitigate it as a normal army officer. I am not talking about as a general asset. Because I think they will understand how did you move step by step to the next level of leadership. Yes.
Thank you. Let me say, a leader is as good as the men that he leads. The biggest asset for a leader is his men. And therefore, any amount of investment in their training, in their camaraderie, in influencing them is always can be much more. And my learning in my younger years have been from the men. It's not been from my seniors. It's been from my junior commissioned officers, non-commissioned officers, and other ranks with whom on commissioning I spent the first 3 months in their lines, sleeping with them, getting up with them, drinking with them, singing with them, doing everything, and not as an officer, but as a tankman. That was the ethos. And I learned everything. And I learned certainly that if you got to be a good leader, you have to earn the respect of your men. And earning respect of your men is not easy. It's a very high standard bar. They will rub shoulders with you. You have to excel. You have to beat them at it. You have to know them backwards, their families, them, so that they feel you're part of the family. I used to go during my leave to their villages, to their houses, stay with them, sort out their problems, and be one of them. So you have to be a soldier first before you become a leader. And you have to excel in all that you do, whether in training or in courses. Therefore, it's important that you know your men, you know your machine, and make excellence a habit. Now, two things that emerged, and let me talk of my younger years as a second lieutenant or a captain at that stage. My first challenge, which came up, was just after, let's say, the 3 or 4 months after I joined my regiment. There was going to be a trial on a new equipment, T-72 at that time, called Crew Fatigue and Battle Fitness Trials. It required a 72 hours non-stop driving the tanks inside, except for the call of nature, not coming out, with your radio set like full mush or a full noise on in those 72 hours, and drive your tank in an operational terrain to see what is the crew fatigue and battle fitness. Now, this was an Indian Army trial. And when this happened, I volunteered as a second lieutenant that I will be the driver because I wanted to lead my men and I wanted to earn the respect. So I said, here is an opportunity. And I capitalized on this opportunity. I drove this tank with a crew. And since it was an extremely challenging and a tough thing, after 72 hours, when the generals and others were there to debrief me, I had lost my hearing. I couldn't hear them. They all got worried. I got admitted in the hospital for the next 3 days because there was a loss of hearing because you were wearing your headgear and mushroom. But when I came out and everything became normal, I could walk tall in front of my men, and they felt proud of it. So this was the first challenge which came, and I took it on. My second challenge came as a captain. I was suddenly asked, and this was when there was this Mandal Commission riots taking place in a place called Samana. I was in Patiala, that you have to rush with a column of troops because riots are taking place and the civil administration cannot control. The police is also in a position not to control. I picked up my column of boys. It was 20 kilometers away from where we were, 28 kilometers. We rushed it. There was no civil adam, there was no police. Luckily, I had a boy. We went to the police station. I found the civil exchange was burning, and it was a atmosphere of lawlessness. The first thing I did, I told my men, we will go through the entire town and give them confidence that we are here, no more riots, no more lawlessness, and everything peaceful should be done. But there were a few alleys where the vehicle couldn't go. So we got down and we marched through those alleys, through the most riot-prone areas, and at the end of it, got hold of all the elders of the town and made them also walk around in those alleys to give the confidence to people that the Indian Army is here. We will not accept riots, and we will address your problems in a peaceful manner. So these challenges got me from a normal tankman to be a leader. That is the sort of thing. And from there, Mr. Bakshi, there was no stopping. I'm married to the olive green. My wife is an army officer's daughter who supported me, understands me, and took on all household responsibility while I focused on the army. I led a tank column in Republic Day Parade in '96, prior to salute the Supreme Commander and the national flag on 26 January 1996. And I would say my learning curve of life was as such. It went from unconscious incompetence to conscious incompetence to conscious competence to unconscious competent. That is the sort of learning that happened in my younger years.
Wow. General Shivane, amazing. And there are people already raising questions for you to respond to. I need to move fast on my questions. And, you know, Dr. S.K. Gupta from Washington already raised a question on the Facebook, and I did correct my pin, Dr. Gupta. It's very close to my heart. Indian flag is here. So I had it on the right-hand side. He advised it should be here. It's very close to my heart, the Indian and the Thai flag. Thank you very much, Dr. Gupta, for sharing your thoughts on this. And in fact, there's a question already coming in from Anshu Sadhu. Yes, I will take up your question once we are through. So I have next question for for General Shivane. While you moved on the journey of your excellence as a general, what were some of the leading challenges you faced? But you are known to be a very people person. What was your leadership style which made you apart from other officers and other generals? While researching about you, I was told that General Shivane had always talked about large heart. Normally in army, we always talk about broad shoulders, a large heart. But I am told that your level of excellence of people processes, which you talked about your background from your parents, how were you different? And what were those challenges which you mitigated, becoming someone so strong, so experienced, so respectful in the entire army brigade of our country? Quick, short.
Yeah, quickly, I'll talk of that. See, life is full of challenges. It's like an ECG. You keep moving up and down. And if you don't have challenges, then I'm afraid there's no joy in such as such. And I had my share of challenges at each level. I had my share of challenges at the junior level, at the middle level. I had the share of challenges of handling a desk of counter-terrorist operation in Srinagar, where each day was a learning. The decisions that you took, the outcome of that was known in 24 hours, right or wrong, because that was your planning operations. And you had to coordinate with multiple agencies. So that brought about a challenge to understand life and death situations. And there were many times when bullets were fired and bursts took place, but they were not inscribed with my name on it. मौत ऊपर वालों के हाथ में होती है. It's in the hands of other. और जो डरता है वो मरता. Whoever is scared will always. So you have to do your job and do it well without fear or favor. That was an amazing, challenging desk and a desk of learning for me. How to outsmart the enemy on a day-to-day basis, a terrorist, and how to realize that the decisions you will take are going to be the decisions where your soldiers may lose lives or a terrorist might escape. My other middle-level challenge came when I was a commanding officer and we were deployed for Operation Parakram after the terrorist strike at the Indian Parliament. I was very motivated as a commanding officer, the cutting edge of the Indian Army, deployed just 30 to 40 kilometers from the border, raring to go across, fully prepared in all aspects, mentally, training-wise, logistics to my men, motivation to my men, even to the extent I knew the terrain and the enemy across backwards. My men did not need maps. It was so well ingrained. And then I had my corps commander who came to me. I still remember the date of 2nd of January. And he came for a briefing to my headquarters and I briefed him. And I showed him some pictures and videos which I had taken off across. And I briefed him on my state of operation readiness. And he got outside after the briefing, called me aside. He is General JJ Singh, who later became the chief. And he told me, he said, son, you will be leading the offensive of the Indian Army in this sector. And he told me, he gave me a date and he gave me a time. He said, be prepared for this. The final go, I will give you with the code word X, whatever that code word was. I mean, that got my DNA and my confidence up that, look, I have the responsibility of leading the offensive. Then came various appointments. But let me say that what are those traits which make a leader of men? What are those traits which give you the power of influence, a power of influencing his body, mind, and soul, which is the power of not only making your men go and win battles, but also your responsibility to get them back home safely to fight yet again another day, which is the biggest welfare. And the power to look after their families and the children when they are away. So these are imbibed in the Indian Army's warrior ethos. Naam, Namak, or Nishan, a unit identity. Imandari, Wafadari, Ekta. The camaraderie, the professionalism. These are something which I would say our men are the finest soldiers of this world, and they make they make you a leader. But the difference between a good and a great leader is a good leader leads your men from the front in battle. A great leader is one who not only leads from the front your men into battle, but also as he leads, churns in leaders in each one of them. So should you fall, the mission will never fail. There will be another leader behind you who will take charge. So that is how I look at it. I can't hear you.
I wish I was part of the Indian Army, and I am feeling jealous because so much to do in Indian Army, so much contribution, and people like you have made a big difference in nation building. It has been my miss of this life to be an army officer. And the way you are explaining about the leadership qualities and the traits, it's amazingly very, very fascinating. And when I look at you, Army General, today, this is something which is very, very fascinating. And I feel very excited to be with you on this show this evening, General Shivane. In fact, it is an honor for me to be on this show and looking at you, the way you are sharing your DNA of leadership. This, ladies and gentlemen, whosoever is watching it, this is the power of this new DNA of leadership program, which we are running right now across the world and taking experience of someone who is multifaceted and multi-experienced and multitasked. Now I'm going to another aspect of yours. When you became someone we feel very proud of, Director General of Mechanized Forces and Strike Corps Commander, what was this assignment? And how was this assignment very powerful? Because this assignment seems to be a very powerful assignment, and it has led to a very significant contribution to the Indian Army, a very powerful military regime, what we call it. How was it? What did you do? Can you share your thoughts?
Okay. Yes, I had the proud privilege of being the strike corps commander of the oldest strike corps, the offensive corps of the Indian Army, who was war-blooded and had an operational and a strategic level task for the Indian Army in operations. When my nomination came and I was appointed the strike corps commander, I had 20 days to myself before I was to join the formation. And my time started from there. I wrote my command operational philosophy. I lived through that 1 year like a dream with clarity of purpose and clarity of actions that had to be taken. And the day I joined, I addressed all ranks and all officers up to commanding officers in the units through a video conferencing and told them what was my focus, what was my direction, what were my actions, and what do I expect from them, so that there was clarity. It's important for a leader to lay down his priorities and focus, and his men and his command must know what business does it need. And my priority remained operational focus. I called it war in my tenure. I said, I have a belief that war will take place in my tenure, and therefore this remains my primary focus, and we will prepare for war in my tenure. Nothing else will remain primary. Now, this was a huge task, because I had 25 stations in 8 states spread over from various arms and services, and I had to get everyone on the same grid for an operational focus. I to spend at least 20 days in a month visiting them, because nothing is better than interacting physically, eye to eye, in person with your men that you lead. There is nothing better than that. It was a task, but at the end of it, we had all our operational aspects well tuned. Everyone was focused, motivated, well trained, and during times of training, even times in 4 or 5 days, we used to be out day and night without a drink. I was flying in my helicopter from one place to the other, visiting each one of them, and made sure that I worked harder than my men and my command, and I never rested till I told my command to rest. You have to lead from the front. And therefore, I was called a general who never sleeps and who eats what his men eat. That was a nickname that I was being given, which my ADC subsequently told me, "Okay, sir, may I tell you something? What your command tells me?" He told me, "Sir, they say, ye general sota kab hai? When does he sleep? He's always with his men. And khata kya hai? Ye shakkar pare khata, which his men eat. He eats those things which his men eat." I said, that is it. I mean, you are a soldier first, a general later. Then came other responsibilities: welfare, development of a station. I made a war archives for my corps, improved schools, hospitals, accommodations, and above all, along with my wife, I took care of the war widows and veterans in my area of command, because they are part of the extended family. So that was how, as a GOC of a strike corps, I spent my 1 year with the greatest professional satisfaction that I could ever have. Then came the tenure as Director General of the Mechanized Forces. Director General of the Mechanized Forces. Imagine, I joined to command 3 tanks, and here I was the Director General of all the tanks, all the armored vehicles of the Indian Army. It was an appointment where I had to give strategic direction, planning, capability building, modernization of the equipment, training HR policies of the men, provisional of materials for the entire mechanized forces. And it was a joy to go into all these things. And I give full credit again to my team, Vijay. And we did proud for the mechanized forces, both in terms of modernization, HR policies, reformation and of training to meet the present dynamics of warfare, force structuring, and you say it. And therefore, I gained the trust not only of my chief, but also of the defense minister. Because like you said, I speak straight and I shoot straight. And there was an occasion when my chief, General Dalbir, and I'll name him, he told me, he said, you know, in the operation room, that a particular modernization scheme is not making progress because there are too many people who are opposing it. And in the Defense Acquisition Council, the defense minister is going to take a decision. I know your power of conviction, and that everything that you say comes from the heart and soul. Can you walk up on my behalf to Mr. Parekar and convince him of? So I walked up to the defense minister, went to his office, took appointment, went to his office, and I told him my chief has sent me for this project. I have only to tell you that if this project is not sanctioned by the Defense Acquisition Council, someone should take ownership that if war happens, someone is to be blamed for failing to equip his soldier for an equipment which is time critical. He said, son, you don't have to tell me anything else. I see it in your eyes. It will be done. He never went into details. And he soon after, another week later, he called me for another case. He said, look, this is another case. I've got 2 files piled up for people who don't want it to go through. What is your take? That is the confidence. That was because, like I told you, as you go up high in the rank, the courage is not physical only. It is the courage of conviction. You have to be answerable to your men, irrespective of your rank. Whatever you do is going to impact that soldier who's going to fight on the battlefield. You cannot ever fail him. You can fail, but he can't.
General Shivane, sir, I need to stop you. The way the things are going, ladies and gentlemen around the world, Dr. Gupta in Washington, are you watching? And Milane in Spain, you are watching. Ash in Australia is watching. In Thailand is watching. The man, the multitask, multifaceted personality of Indian Army, Lieutenant General Shivane is talking about great leadership traits. Men in uniform, creating the passion of making this thing to happen. The way we are going on this program, General Shivane, we need to be here for 2 hours or what? This is going to be fascinating. I need to move forward. Looking at your background, tough, strong, strategic, military leader, again, I'm saluting you. What are your thoughts on building a very strong, rather much strong Indian Army in days to come in terms of organizational leadership? Do you see one side the behaviors of Indian, say, army leadership and corporate leadership or political leadership? Is there a difference between attributes, attitudes, behaviors, boldness, character, courage of conviction you talked about? How does it work differently? As a corporate leader, I train corporates and I see things in corporates going astray because there are leadership issues. We always say we do not have business problems, we have people problems. When our people problems get solved, business problems get automatically solved. In army, it is the general, it is the commander. Whatever he says, yes, one dream, one team, one mission, one team. India can do it. The power of Indianization. Why can't it happen in the corporate world? Make in India concept. One dream, one team, Atmanirbhar of Prime Minister Narendra Modi. What is the difference between the two leaderships? That's my request to you to share the thoughts.
I would salute all levels of leadership because the challenges are different as such. As long as all leaders believe in nation above all. Wow. That is the common ethos that we need to build. The challenges are different. The training and the philosophies are different for the men. But if I was to say what is the difference between a military leader, a corporate leader, and a political leader, I would say that a military leader deals with life and death. A manager or a corporate leader deals with profit and loss. And a political leader deals with staying in power. So the mission and motivation is different for the same resource, with the same primary resource, which is the men or the population or the people. A military leader has to be selfless and has to have a very high level of motivation and a deep sense of nationalism, nation above all, because he owes his allegiance to the Constitution of India, not to any political parties, political leaders, or anyone else. For him, the Supreme Commander is the President. And therefore, like I said, the unit Izzat, the nation's tricolor, is supreme. That is his end, his beginning and the end. मर मिटेंगे मगर वो तिरंगा नीचे नहीं आने देंगे. They will not allow that. A manager's motivation is money and business how it grows. That is another way. I mean, there's nothing but that's his role. And so he may keep changing his job in 2 years and keep changing his men and resources. A military leader doesn't do that. And a political leader's motivation, like I said, isn't far. A military leader says, follow me. He leads from the front. A manager says, do it. A politician says a lot, but means that we must stay in power. So leaders take risk. Managers and politicians, they control and manage risk. And therefore, there is important of a military leader to be audacious, bold, and take every opportunity, every adversity as an opportunity. That is the key essence of the difference between the two.
I would come out with one statement here when we talk about the corporate world. Why can't we? That's what I'm trying to do. Why can't we put into the minds of the corporate managers, entrepreneurs, business owners, nation first, nation first? I do a program called Romancing with Your Destiny, where I say, "Jahan dal dal par sone ki chidiya karti hai basera, wo Bharat desh hai mera, wo Bharat desh hai mera." And then I talk to them about business which can grow our country and make global, our India as a global player. So having said that, I'm coming to another question. You have seen General Shivane last few years, maybe 5-7 years. There has been a lot of mud all thrown on the army personnel, especially when we talk about Kashmir. And a lot of political parties and unscrupulous people are questioning, maybe sometimes some army personnel, questioning some of the strikes which have been done. And these are very painful. When you hear such situations, it gives a pain in the heart. As an NRI, I tell you frankly, I feel painful here that how can an Indian talk about Indian Army? Because when I meet Indian Army somewhere on the airport, whether it's Heathrow Airport, whether it's Singapore or Thailand, I will go and I will clap for them and I will salute them. How do you see, I mean, what families must be going through pain, the army families, when people are going into mudsligging? How can we change this aspect in some of the unscrupulous people in the country?
Absolutely. It pains me to no end. It pains me to no end when people indulge in such mudslinging or, politics over above all. This is indeed sad. My message to my countrymen is be an Indian worth fighting for. We are here. Jaan Hazir hai. We will ensure that you live in peace and prosperity. Believe in us, support us.
Wow.
A soldier, when in an adverse situation, be it in counter-terrorist operation or in high altitude of 19,000 feet, minus 35, minus 50 degrees, is fighting the weather and the adversity. When he fights terrorists, he is extremely conscious of the fact that there must not be any collateral damage to the men. And therefore, he takes the first burst himself and then reacts. Why? Because he doesn't want any of his countrymen to be hurt. He doesn't, it's very easy that you suspect something and you give a big weapon first day. No, sir. You are a soldier. You have certain ethos and you have certain responsibilities to your countrymen who must respect you. And therefore, the country must respect you too. When we undertake surgical strikes, be it Balakot or our response in Ladakh, be it Galwan or otherwise, it's been a professional response. It's been a response of a righteous army. It's been a response of a professional army. And it has had telling effect. It has got us global recognition as being one of the best armies in the world, the most professional. And we do it very, very silently.
General Shivane, I'm getting excited. I'm getting thrilled. So are people who are on various platforms. They are ready to with their questions. But I need to ask a couple of questions, and then I go to questions from Dr. Gupta from Washington. There are other questions coming from Milani. There's a question from Sausap. So I need to get to one important question. India today, when we look at February 2020, entire world talk about India is going to be disastrous in the world. India will lose everything. India will not have a great future because of the COVID. India today has become the power of the world. India has today become healing the world with the vaccination program. And when it is happening in the world as a vaccination program, how do you see, similarly when we have peacekeeping forces around the world, how do you see our Indian army becoming something like, we have an Israeli army, which is very powerful. How do you see Indian army in next 5 to 10 years time going strong in the world? Quick and short.
Yeah. So firstly, as a nation, 2020, we faced the twin challenges of COVID and the offensive and Ladakh, the intrusion that took place, and possibly from the same source. But as a nation, we emerged strong and utilizing this opportunity to demonstrate our hard power, soft power, and smart power to the world. And therefore, every adversity has become an opportunity for India to be recognized today as the leaders of the global world for peace, prosperity, and for shared brotherhood. And Indian Army is part of that. Now, Indian Army as the respected image that I see in the next 5 to 10 years, I see it only growing. Because when I have the good fortune to see the Indian other armies of the world, let me tell you very frankly, the sort of respect for and the professionalism that is respected world over for the Indian Army is unbelievable. Any crisis situation, even in UN, the UN force commander first requests the Indian Army to go and take control of that. Even in the nation, you see any crisis, man-made, otherwise, the Indian Army is the last bastion of strength to control that. We have one of the largest UN peacekeepers in India. We have enhanced our defense diplomacy and military-to-military cooperation. And with this enhancement and Atmanirbhar Bharat in defense, the sort of respect you see, the sort of east, west, north, south, Indian Army today is a role model of the nation which is going to go on a global trajectory to be the most vibrant democracy and the most strong democracy of the world shortly. Mark my word, it'll happen very soon.
Fantastic. India today is healing the world. India today is pharma hub of the world. India is going to be the manufacturing hub of the world. You look at another country, people do not want to go there. So India has a possibility. India today is going to be the best army of the world, helping other people on peacekeeping and other stuff. India is turning to be Atmanirbhar. My quick question and quick response, I have been driving hashtag women power, a global movement. 1 million women to be on this platform by 2024 in 20 countries I am doing. Religiously last 1 year. Kiran Bedi is my first women power into this entire process. How do you see Indian Army now, women taking it? When I see some young women taking it and getting into army, do you see that Indian Army is shaping to attract the women power of India to be part of the women force army, be it Navy, be it armed forces, or Air Force?
Absolutely. I couldn't believe, I agree with you more because I believe valor knows no gender, and neither is a soldier or a warrior should have a gender bias. And I had the good fortune of even in Kashmir Valley and in other, as a strike corps commander and other appointments, having women officers under my command. And I have tremendous respect for their professionalism, for their focus, for their loyalty toward the organization. So I am sure that this recognition is only going to grow. Because if you look at India, both mythologically and historically, the role of Indian women as warriors is well documented. You see Queen Vishwapala in Rigveda, you see in Queen Kaikeyi, you see in Rani of Jhansi, and you see the women wing of Indian National Army, INA, which are responsible for the independence. So we speak of Durga, Lakshmi, Kali. So this is well ingrained. Unfortunately, after independence, it took us nearly 45 years to harness this resource. We always had in nursing and medical, but in other branches, it took us. It was only in 1992 when we expanded it. But in the last 6 years, there has been a threefold increase in the avenues for the women officers and soldiers. I call them women officers, but that is because we're talking of women. Otherwise, I would call them threefold increase in these warriors as such. And I am sure this is going to get better and better because even the service conditions in terms of other conditions has improved. But the challenge remains two. One is in the close combat role, particularly anti-terrorist and Azad role, and in the role of commanding officer of troops, which may be male predominant. But I'm sure this is a transitory phase because today in war, there are no front line and rear line. You may be going in a convoy and get attacked, and that convoy may have women officers. So I am very confident that the day is not very far where already women are there as pilots in Air Force, Navy, they're coming into to the Army, that they will be frontline pride of the Indian Armed Forces. And I'm proud of each one of them, and I'm confident of each one of them coming out with flying colors as soldiers and as warriors and as leaders.
Yes, women power. Wherever you are right now, please watch this program. And here is an opportunity for you to become more stronger. Power of Indian Army in all the three segments. I need to close. I need to get into the questions. Now, here is a question coming from Anshu Sadhu. Greetings to all. My question to Lieutenant General AB Shivane is, what is your opinion for practically implementing Israel model, that is every member in a family to compulsory serve in Indian Army? Recently we heard there was notice from center as well, but how the model can be turned into real good reality?
I think conscription, or at least making the youth go through the paces of Indian Army, not only to as a soldier, but to as a disciplined force, so that even when they go to corporate, like you said, it'll be nation above all, because you have to imbibe that ethos, the loyalty, the 5 C's: character, competence, courage, commitment, and compassion in them at the DNA. Now, every nation cannot be compared with the others because there's a different operational environment. But at the larger picture, I think the model of Israel, in terms of giving training to all the youth, is a good model. Their operational environment is different and operational requirement is different. But like you said, this issue is already under discussion at the highest level. And I'm sure it will go through a process of discussion and refinement and open opportunities for the youth of the nation to be groomed as young soldiers, and then they can go to the various fields and various sections of the society, or be soldiers if they want, and do the nation proud with the ethos, nation above all, and loyalty to that tricolor, to that national anthem, which must.
Nation above all, to the tricolor. Thank you so much. Oh, Mr. Sadhu, you got a response from General Shivane. Here's a question. Shekhar Khanna, my hats off to General Shivane. Absolutely impeccable clarity of leadership and straightforward approach. What a wonderful way to lead. We love our soldiers, great leaders of Indian Army. What is the question, Shekhar? Okay, now Dr. Suresh Gupta from Washington. Mr. Bakshi, I have a loaded question. Yes, sir. How do you find such legends on your new DNA leadership? Real mind-boggling indeed. I personally learned a lot from this show. Hey, Dr. Gupta, you were yourself on this show sometime back, 2 months back. You are yourself a great role model as a leader for people. Thanks for raising questions and being there. Now, there's a question he is talking about. At the age of 15 to 17, a young man decides his future. The path he decides to take, normally one does. Honorable Shivane joined Indian Army. In my case, at the age of 15, after high school in 1970, by seeing the health of suffering, I decided to become a doctor. Oh, Dr. Gupta. Okay, you actually, Dr. Shivane, in the beginning.
Let me mention to Dr. Gupta that you are a warrior in a different uniform.
Sure.
And we salute and respect you as a warrior of the nation.
Wow.
So, both of us have common. We save lives of our countrymen, and we do it with a lot of pride. So I salute you as a doctor and as a warrior in white cloak.
Wow, fascinating. That is the beauty of leadership. So, ladies and gentlemen, I need to quickly go to questions, and there are many more questions coming on platform. And let me go to the questions here. Anshu, you got a response. Dr. Gupta, you got a response. And let me go to I have a question here coming from Saurabh, sir. Mr. Saurabh, I am unmuting you. You can go ahead with your question. Mr. Saurabh, please, you are on the, this thing, you can raise your question yourself. Saurabh, sir, please go ahead.
Hello.
Yes, sir, go ahead.
Hello. Yeah. Good evening, General Shivane, sir. I am Saurabh Mahabray. And my question is that you know a lot about me. As of now, I'm preparing for SSBs to join the Indian Army. And my
Oh,
question is, what you would like to say? What would be your advice and what would be your suggestions to those aspiring for join the army? Thank you.
Saurabh, we have been in touch with each other, and I've been guiding you to be a soldier of this nation, like many, many other youth that I'm in touch with on this. And my advice to you is have a passion for being a soldier. Be straight, talk straight, and remember,
wow.
there is nothing bigger than the nation. If you have these qualities, whatever you speak, physically, mentally, morally, you will become a soldier one day. Work hard because there is no shortcut to working hard. You have to prepare well, prepare everything, leave nothing unturned. And if you have a passion, you will make sure that you will become a soldier. And I'm confident of you, Saurabh, that
Can
one day
we
you will
see
become a
Saurabh
soldier.
on the video? Amresh, Varsha, can you put his video on? Can we see him on the video? I would like to see this young man going to the Indian Army. Can we see his video? I want to see him. Can you put your video on, Saurabh? Amresh, Varsha, can you support?
Saurabh, let's see the young soldier. Let the world see a young soldier.
Yeah. Okay, Saurabh, are you there? Yes, sir. Yes, Saurabh. Yes, we can see you. No, you have to unmute yourself. You have to unmute yourself.
Unmute
Yeah,
yourself, Saurabh.
yes, sir. Am I visible, sir?
Yes, we can see you.
Yes, Saurabh, good to see you live again.
Yes, sir. Sir. Yeah, thank you very much, sir. So sorry for the appearance because now due to lockdown, that's why.
No problem.
A soldier never says sorry.
So,
You and nothing, no lockdown can help you. So stir yourself up and become a soldier.
Sure, sir. Okay.
very great. Thank you so much, Saurabh. I wanted to see you. Wish you all the best.
Thank you very much, sir. And thank you very much for organizing this program.
Ashok Rao sir, can you unmute yourself? We want to see you and you can raise your question.
Yeah, hi Ashok.
Yes, sir. Go ahead.
Hi, Ashok Rao.
Ashok and me grew up together in
Oh, wow.
yeah, we know 1965, right, Ashok?
Absolutely, absolutely. Class
Yes,
fifth.
Varsha, can we see Mr. Ashok Rao?
I've unmuted myself.
Yes, we can see you as well. You are on Zoom, so why don't we see you? In case not possible, doesn't matter. Okay. Okay, no problem. Please go ahead, sir.
Yeah, I can see you.
Okay, we can see you, Rao Saab. But you're muted, you're muted, you're muted.
Hi Ashok, I haven't seen you since we went
Hi.
to the Hyderabad trip
Yeah.
together just before the lockdown. Okay, tell me something. You got excellent leadership traits embedded into you. Fantastic. Now that you're retired, how do you want to take this leadership traits forward to actually raise the tricolor even above where it is now? Other than, okay, I know that you are into a lot of speaking and leadership speeches that you give. I've heard about it. But what do you think could actually be your key objective? Because what you have in you is something that we lack in the corporate world. In fact, I had asked Bakshi earlier on also, what's the difference between a leader in the corporate world and in the military world? And why don't you do something about that? Because I think there's a lot to learn from us, the corporates, from the leadership traits. Let's put it this way: corporates are not disciplined soldiers. They're democratic, but whereas the armed forces are disciplined, and that's a plus point. So how do you turn indisciplined corporates into disciplined, focused leadership.
Thank you, Ashok Rao. What a pleasure to see you again live. We are bonded for life. We are buddies, school buddies.
Yeah.
I look at it that it's my time to give back to the country, to the organization, what someone has given me. And I would like that my learnings of lifetime, my lessons be brought to the next generation and to the corporate. And therefore, I take a lot of pleasure to go down to schools, to go down to institutions, and to go down to corporates and speak to them on a theme which Mr. Bakshi had said, nation above all. And I speak to them out of values and ethos that they need to imbibe, which I think is the essence of nation above all. So I do this a lot. I am in touch with people of different walks of life where I mentor them online and I speak to them online as such. My suggestion has always been for the corporate, kindly induct young lieutenant colonels who have got this ethos and have had to leave the Indian Army at a very early age. Incorporate them into your organization. They will be game changers. They will be influencers because they are so deeply, foundationally embedded, and they will spread the joy of the services uniform to the corporate. And I'm sure it'll be a win-win situation.
Yeah, thank you, Ashok. I think what you say is very, very right. But unfortunately, the corporate world take these colonels and the lieutenant colonels as only administrative officers.
Absolutely.
After services. And whilst I've tried my best to push them, to take them into strategy, I think one of the biggest advantages that the Army has is strategic thinking. Thinking forward, looking at various operational constraints, and then taking that and making it into advantage and seeing how best you can move it forward. That's the unfortunate part. Maybe it would be a good idea that you, along with your other colleagues in the Army, take it up with the CII, Confederation of Indian Industry.
Yes.
And there's a lot. There's a lot that we can learn, And by the way, Mr. Bakshi, I must tell you this story. When Ashok mentioned that uncle was presumed dead and found in Bhutan, there's a very interesting aspect which he hasn't told you, that uncle actually went to the Bhutan and he got two little puppies from the king of Bhutan, Paru and Timpu.
Timmy.
For those two cuties, as a gift. And his father was one of the well-renowned shooters and the second biggest rogue elephant in Asia.
Right? Yes. He was internationally known wildlife expert, and he shot the second biggest rogue elephant in Asia as such.
So
you're right.
We've learned a lot from Uncle, quite a bit. We enjoyed the stay. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Rao Saab. And I think your point is very important, that we need to do together something where Army officers can get strategic roles, leadership roles in the corporate.
Absolutely.
That's more appropriate than having a security and administrative role. I think we'll have to play a lot of role into this. I can also support General Shivane on this because I am also working with various corporates. Thank you for joining. Now I have the last question. We are already 1.5 hours. In Narula, our Thai Sikh from Bangkok. Varsha, can we see in Narula Sahib? Can you unmute yourself? We want to see you and raise a question, because then Cheryl goes for the vote of thanks. You raise the question in Narula from Thailand, Bangkok. Please go ahead.
Yes, Namaskar ji. How are you, sir?
Okay.
Dr. Bakshi.
Good.
Yes, I'm seeing you and no one else.
Oh, you can't see General Shivani.
No. He is not on the screen. But
He is on the screen.
can you hear me, Doctor Lieutenant General Shivani ji?
Yes, I can see you. I can hear
Okay,
you.
I can see you now. Greetings from Bangkok, Thailand, sir.
Thank you so much. What a pleasure.
I look forward to meeting you in person real soon. And hopefully that should come up, when the skies open up. But I am very much impressed with your talk and your discourse this evening. Your advice has been tremendous and is going to help everyone, be it in the corporate world, political world, or in the soldiering itself. I think that has been wonderful. And I'm very, very impressed with your passion, your discipline, your straightforwardness, and yet you are very polite. Your caring, your compassionate attitude, being positive and building a team. All these are just phenomenal and fantastic. The truth of the matter is, we don't see that in the world as much as we would like. Are there anything we can do or we can say, or perhaps a program that people can maybe go through and become one, be one team? That's my question, sir.
Yes, absolutely. I think there is a leader in every human which needs to be ignited world across. And I think the basic premise we need to start is everyone in this world is a wonderful human being. We need to harness this quality and give it a direction towards the right course. That is the primary responsibility of the country, of the global community, and seniors like you and me. It's when we fail in this responsibility, then the course that is chosen at times is not the right course for the society. We are one globe, one world, one society, and we are connected. Caste, creed, religion, nations is all connected. There is enough place for everyone to live in peace and shared prosperity. There's enough place. And once this brotherhood, this quest for giving space to everyone to grow happens, I think we all will be very happy. But it's for us, the nation, and the hierarchy in the nation to make sure that we pass it on, like I keep saying, and we bring the next generation to the right course.
Absolutely brilliant. Thank you for the answer. I think we should begin with education, begin at the kindergarten. Absolutely.
Thank you.
Lieutenant General, I salute to you, sir, an officer and a gentleman. Great salute, sir.
Thank you so much.
I need to close the program. Cheryl from Mumbai, who actually got connected. Cheryl, can we see Cheryl on this? Varshand, this I want to see her and unmute her. She is going to propose vote of thanks. Achan, stay back. Cheryl from Mumbai is going to propose.
Sure.
Cheryl, please unmute yourself. We want to see you. Cheryl Gaikwad from Mumbai. Cheryl?
Yeah, hi, good evening.
Good evening.
Hello, hi, good evening, Mr. Bakshi, Mr. Shivane. It's an honor. It's an honor to receive the invitation which I had given it to you, sir. I salute you for, the words what you have spoken this evening. I have taken down, in fact, I never take notes, but I have taken down the notes what you have said, each word. Like as you said, sir, that the military leaders deals with life and death,
Sure.
and the manager is always talks about profit and money,
Sure.
and an army says follow me, manager says do it and control the leadership, and political is also stay in power. So there are many words which you have spoken this 1 hour. I have taken on all the notes. It's an honor.
Thank you.
As Mr. Bakshi also said that in 2024, there will be 20 countries who will be involving in this women power. I hope, Mr. Shivane, General, you will be with us the entire journey, what Mr. Bakshi is going through. Take it to 2024. I just want to say that what I have understood from your journey is so beautiful. There's so many things which you have done to learn from you. So salute you, sir. Salute you. And once again, thank you very much for taking the invitation and coming and mentoring Mr. Bakshi and all of us, sir.
Thank you so much, Cheryl. I see the soldier in you. So what a pleasure to have the closing address from Cheryl, a warrior who was contributing tremendously to society, and I salute you too. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Cheryl, and ladies and gentlemen across the world. This is more than 80 minutes. My God. So we are 60, 30. This is almost 100 minutes. So, ladies and gentlemen, this has been one of our fascinating programs on behalf of global talent and on behalf of new DNA of leadership. I thank you, General Shivane, for your contribution. You have been an amazing guest to me this evening. There are many other questions which are coming in, but unfortunately, I can't take it because we have to close the program. Thank you for being here, and really broad shoulders, large heart, and straight spine. And I salute you, and I say, Jai Hind. Bharat Mata Ki Jai. Vande Mataram. Vande Mataram. Vande Mataram. You are a true example of a great Indian persona of multitask, multi-skilled, multifaceted, multinational Indian Army General. Respects, and I give standing ovation to you. I give standing ovation to you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. And Jai Hind and Bharat Mata Ki Jai.
Thank you very much, sir. Wish you all the best.
Thank
Ladies and gentlemen around the world, in US, in Canada, have a great day. In Europe, England, good evening, good afternoon to you. And in Australia, already sleeping, Ash. And in Asia Pacific, good night, almost coming to be. Okay, all the best and good luck. Bye-bye. Thank you very much.
Thank you.